Greetings from the Pacific Northwest is what some of the locals call it. Although shit, man, it's spring and it's incredible weather. But anyways, budget build homestead #1. It's been a while, but shit, we've been really busy, and the camera took a shit, and it's pretty far to get a new one. So finally, we got a new camera. So happy about that. And so anyway, we got our property. It took us a while. We shop around. You think you have one in mind, you know, but as it turns out, when you look at it, it's totally different than what you thought, and it's, you know, either too far out or not farmable, or just not, you know, not workable or not agreeable, you know, on anybody's level. So the one we did find, it's funny because when we first, you know, started kind of looking around, you know, 10 years ago or whatever, no, maybe not that long, just kind of throwing the idea out there. This is the first area we looked at, so it's kind of cool. We ended up here. So anyway, this property is about 11 acres, which people ask me, how big is that? Well, if you were to take 6 football fields, like 2, 4, 6 lengthways, and then side by side, that's about how big it is. So it's good size, and it's in the redwoods, so we're happy about that. It's definitely not flatland farming. It's definitely hillside farming, so it's a challenge. You fall a lot, and you get stuck a lot. The bus gets stuck a lot. In fact, we're living in the bus still, and it's been about 8 months?
9 months.
9 months. And it gets a little crowded, but everything's working, you know, good in there. So that's cool. This particular piece of property it's not raw land, but it's definitely not anything. It was kind of neglected, to say, for 20 years. So you can imagine it was pretty in bad shape, pretty overgrown. Everything is you know, pretty rough. You know, it does have an old house that's been pretty beat up. But one thing we wanted raw, but one thing good about this is that the house is here. So what you bought the property for is what you're taxed on. When you buy raw, as soon as you do anything, you know, the wolves are on you. You know, wanting their share for whatever reason. You know, I don't really agree where that money goes. You know, but so that's one thing good. You pay for what you got, and then, you know, then you work with it from there. So that's one plus to that. This particular parcel has a well on it, which is working. It's not a great producing well. We tested it. I can't even think about it. It was more on the low side, but with storage tanks, you know, it's good. And there's another well lower down the property. The pump's bad, but, you know, I'm pretty sure there's water down there, so that would be more for irrigation purposes, for farming and such. Basically, what we've been doing since we got it, you know, is just clearing the land. Holy shit, the brush, you know, cutting down some trees, you know, not the redwoods, or leaving the redwoods, but some other of the pine trees, and then
There's some cut down.
and then so like this area we got, that was kind of already kind of graded, but it was overgrown and the brush was just thick. So that was we cleared all that away, cleared some up top. In the beginning, I rented a Bobcat skid steer to help me do the work. Essentially, I'm kind of, you know, doing it by myself. So unless you're on a commune, or, you know, you got a lot of help, you know, you need some equipment, because otherwise, you know, you're gonna die. It'll just kick your ass. So, but one thing about when you live way out like this, so far out off the grid, so you say, if you rent or anything like that, by the time you got the equipment here, you're paying for a whole day of travel, and then you got to pay for a whole day back. So it's kind of not really worth it to rent. But anyway, in the beginning, that's what we used. Use it for, you know, a few weeks, and, you know, got some shit done. And then, of course, there's no trash pickup here, so everything, you know, that we cut and brush. If it's not usable, you know, if it is usable, it gets reused. If not, it gets, you know, burned, put in a pile, and burn it. So that's how we dispose of it. And then, so I invested, well, anyway, so it's been about 8 months, you know. We sold our home, took what we had from that, invested it here. We're going to invest everything in this, everything to ourselves. It ain't much, but whatever it is, it's just investing in ourselves so we can make the land produce for us. You know, we're going to have, in the long run, you know, animals, you know, chickens. We're working on a chicken coop right now. That'll be the next video. You know, dairy cows, beef cow, gardens, you know, stuff like that. That eventually, but you know, it's like one step at a time. When you're dealing on such massive land, it's you kind of get overwhelmed. So you got to kind of focus on different, you know, areas. So that's a long-term goal instead of, you know, giving your money to those fuckers, you know, just so they can make, you know, their quadrillion billion dollars. You know, who gives a fuck about that? You know, we're just, you know, doing it our way. So so that's how we're doing it now. Eventually, you know, of course, I'm gonna have to go back to work, you know, or somehow of income that way, you know, eventually. But for now, you know, we're just, you know, just working on the land so it can produce for us, you know, be self-sufficient, you know, give back to the land too. One thing we did invest in was this New Holland tractor, and it's used, of course, but fuck, it is a workhorse. As you can see, this land is not flat. Well, you can kind of pan around. You see, we're pretty far up in the hills. You got it's pretty thick with trees. It's pretty incredible. You know, then there is open areas. So this is so this New Holland, man. I was, you know, figuring, you know, shit, the skid steer or New Holland, but the New Holland, the 3-point tractor like this. 3-point meaning you can put accessories on the back, like it's, you know, like a rake, a box scraper, you know, shit like that. Right now we have a postal digger on there. I'm gonna start fencing in, and there's no way you can dig that many fence posts, you know, without it, unless you had, you know, handheld. But so anyway, this is used. The price was right. The guy even brought it all the way out here from where he was at, you know. But man, I've had it up some steep shit, and it just goes, you know. And it's strong too, because we've had the bus stuck, and when it was raining bad, I mean, the mud's like 2 feet. In the snow, you can dig mud. You can't fucking dig that shit. And we've had the bus stuck. Had the lady on the tractor, you know, pulling while I'm going on the bus, and man, it saved us, you know. So, you know, did some things to it. Added toolbox, some lights, you know, so you can drive it. You know, if you need to go out on the road, you can. And it's got a bucket, which is nice. It's got some hooks here. What I did add was that it's probably not made to do that, but where I used to work, they had we used to use like fork extensions on the forklift. You know, if you couldn't reach, you put a piece of channel on there. So I kind of thought that same idea. So I went to Steelyard, got a piece of channel, cut in half. I think this is 5-inch channel, and look at the dog. He thinks he's a cow. He's eating grass. And just you know, cut it at an angle here, cleaned it up, painted it, then bolted it. You know, there's straps that run around the bucket here, so it's really strong. Goes around there. But now you can, you know, you can come in and pick up piles, move debris, or, you know, easier. You know, pick up lumber that way. So so fuck, man, it's working pretty good. Some of the tools, you know, for clearing the land. A lot of people already know this, but in case you don't, this is what I've been using, and I abuse my tools, but man, these things, they're, you know, they keep going, you know. Is the Husqvarna chainsaw is a 16 and a 20-inch, you know. Fuck, man, this, you know, these work pretty damn good. And thanks for people on YouTube on how to fall trees. By cutting the hinge in there, I learned how to do that from that. This one right here is kind of like a weed eater, but you wear a harness, it goes over and it hangs from you. And it's got the bigger motor on here. And you can put the heavy duty string on there, you know, for cutting brush and stuff. But also put like a saw blade on here. And man, this tears up some brush, blackberry bushes, you know, bigger brush. Man, it goes right through it. You know, they make, you know, other shit for clearing brush, you know, but it's not in our budget to do. But so this was some necessities to get the job done. So that's kind of where we're doing right now. I mean, we just clearing brush, clearing up shit, you know, cutting trees, just kind of making it so you can even get passable up the road, so you can get trucks up here and stuff. I think that's so that's where we're at right now. This is our dog still here. He's still hanging in. Diesel. He's 12. I don't know how much more time he's got. He's got a tumor, but he's living with it, you know. So, and then over in the area will be our pet cemetery, you know. So when he does go, you know, which would be, you know, be shitty, but you know, he'll still, you know, have a cemetery over there. In fact, that would be like the family cemetery instead of, you know, those fuckers paying to die. I don't really understand that. So that's where we will, you know, it's our destiny, not theirs. So anyway, so that's where we're at. So I know it's kind of hard to rant when you got, you know, bitchin' redwoods like that. You know, they kind of keep you, and they're just incredible. So so people have been asking, you know, why make the videos again? Yeah, I know it's just something to share with other people who kind of have the same idea, and then also, you know, for the kids when they get older, you know, they can kind of look back and see, you know, what was going on, shit like that. So, all right. So the next one we're working on is going to be the chicken coop and the chicken. So, so we'll go with that one. All right.